Welcome everyone to the official Dad Stack podcast on the official Dad Stack podcast channel. My boy Scrub here. Say hi to the fans, Scrub.
Hello, I'm here.
He decided to set up a channel for this podcast.
Yeah.
So very excited to kind of lump that in together. If you're normally subscribed to one of our YouTube channels and you don't mind, you know what? That I'm not even going to ask. I'm not going to ask for subscribers because that's cringy. No, Scrub, how you been, dude?
I'll ask for subscribers. Please give us subscriptions. We need the money. We need the gooler. We got to be able to afford Shark his Starlink ASAP so he can tune into us from I don't know, Guantanamo Bay. Is that where you are right now, or something?
I can neither confirm nor deny that I am at Guantanamo Bay.
Roger that. Yeah. No, I'm doing great, man. We got our own little Dad Stack channel right now, which is you're probably either seeing this on, and hopefully you can find it. But yeah, that's very, very good. I'm good. How are you, Shark? You're in a new location, I see.
Yeah. Someone actually commented on one of my videos today, like, whoever has Shark locked in their basement making YouTube videos, please keep it up. I know it looks bleak. I have it deliberately pointed towards a wall. Don't worry. Mama Shark's curtains will be up soon. TM. Because there's at least one more move in my future in the next month or so. And then, like Scrub, like you alluded to, the biggest struggle is I am going from like 1 gigabit up and down fiber at my old place to Starlink for the best bandwidth.
Oh, man.
That it's been painful. Like Broken Arrow pushed that patch today to 6 gigabytes. And I was like, oh, God, I got to set aside like an hour to download this.
Welcome to Australia.
Other than the complete and total lack of bandwidth in what is otherwise a first world country, yeah, life's good, dude.
Ah, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
You picked the title for this episode.
Oh, yes.
It's like, we're not talking about Broken Arrow.
We're not.
So I'm going to let you kick this one off.
Yeah. So I'm sure I have received comments, as I'm sure you have, and many people are asking what the Dad Stack's takes are on the current Broken Arrow situation. And we've made it a goal to we're not going to talk about Broken Arrow today. We might allude to it. We might talk around it because I've got mixed feelings. People have mixed feelings. And we're going to avoid we'll just leave it there. How about, do you want to add anything to that?
It's so tempting.
It is tempting
to go into a rant. Fundamentally, it's been tough to get in and play the game as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be one of those people that throws out a take on something with like no experience. And we'll talk about this later with some of the video reviews for Company of Heroes Final Stand and my issues with those.
Yeah.
With the patch notes videos that I normally do a bunch of testing. All this stuff has been tested because the patch that they released was essentially the PTE patch when they closed the PTE.
Yeah.
But now I have no idea what to call live, pre-anniversary live, pre-anniversary PTE, PTE1, PTE2. It doesn't matter. This is the game now.
This is what it is. And
it is what it is. It's a fundamentally different game.
Yeah.
So I have some thoughts. I have some plans on like videos to talk about gameplay stuff. Corin and Kingpin have been putting out a ton of really good Broken Arrow content talking about decks and gameplay. So I would push you their direction.
Definitely. I would echo that as well. I've tried tackling the beast of my white whale that is talking about patches because I tried making a video for the anniversary patch and that kind of blew up. That didn't really work out. And I've tried making a video for this one and I've realized like, you know what? I'm going to like give myself some grace on that. But yeah, it's interesting testing it out in the wild. I'm happy that it's out in the wild so I can test it out with not absolute sicko players because I don't think if you're like testing against the likes of Benji and all that, I don't think I'm going to get a proper read of it. But yeah, without opening,
that's something. I don't know if people know this or not, but I am probably the lowest elo guy in the playtest group, sitting at like 2,300, 2,400. Yeah. The guys they have in there to test this stuff are absolute Broken Arrow gods.
Absolutely.
So it always makes me wonder if they're getting a realistic feel in the gameplay. But I think for you and I, and I'm going to speak for you here for a second, I think most of our issues had to do more with the process than with the actual game itself. So that's why I think we're probably done talking about Broken Arrow today.
Yeah,
ironically, we're gonna go do a showcase game to kind of highlight the new observer mode. I am excited about that.
That is very cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna claim credit for this. I pitched this idea to STB as soon as the observer mode was announced.
Yeah,
I said we should have a game between high-end YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and the devs, and I'll come in and cast and highlight all the observer mode features. I'm super glad that we get to do that. I'm sorry that you have to stay up late at night to get smashed in a Broken Arrow game by a bunch of the devs.
I have I've experienced waking up and immediately playing Broken Arrow, so now I get to do the opposite of having like woken up at 5 a.m. and be staying up to like 12 a.m. being like, let's go and play a proper Broken Arrow match with good players against the devs who are also, I assuming, are quite good at the game. But it'll be interesting to see how they play it, because I guess we'll get like, first-hand accounts like this is the way the devs want to play the game. So that will be interesting. And yeah, we've got like, I think Corin, Jiro, ACV, as well as
Arturo.
Yeah, I was struggling with them. And then of course, cast by none other than Shark and Vulcan himself. So, but if you're listening to this has already happened, and it's already, so this is like old news if you have catch that. But I'll be getting a VOD of it up on my channel soon enough. I have not put any new patch stuff out because I'm struggling to get. Yeah, we will not talk about Broken Arrow, and I'm sure you're going to be getting some more. You'll be getting the cast up on your channel, Shark.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to publish the cast from my point of view pretty much as soon as my terrible internet can upload it.
Dude, since going to Fiber, man, it's another world. Like before, it would take 5-6 hours to upload like a 20 gigabyte file, and now that's like half an hour. And I'm like, what is this world? Like, I could download a game that's like, I can get like a 50 gigabyte patch done in 20 minutes, and I'm like, that was a day. This is nuts. This is what the world is like, and that's not even like insane internet speed like some places have. Which is always
that's why I was so
me.
lost here. That the first option when I went into a shop and I'm like, hey, what can you do for high speed internet? And they're like, the best we can do is DSL, which I thought was gone decades ago, right? DSL,
yeah,
16 megabits per second. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, we don't need to talk anymore. That's the best.
Yeah,
I'll just set up my phone as a hotspot and use that. Dude. Holy crap!
I've been doing that in Oz, like literally using my 4G, 5G for internet, like since being a young teen and not having proper internet. Yeah, dude.
Well, 5G can support speeds of like 600 megabits per second. Ooh. So it's just like mind-boggling.
Yeah, nice.
But these are the struggles. The one thing I know, we complain about being up early, being up late, but that is also the one time that like the family's asleep.
Yeah, legit.
So even when I was stateside, like late night, that was the best time to get in gaming because I didn't have to feel bad about missing family time.
Oh yeah, like I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than your Broken Arrow game's loading in, you're about to get to your starting deployment, and then you hear that cry from the baby monitor, and you're like, I'm on duty.
Oh, no.
Please go down. And it's like a race to like, please, chill. But I would have asked about that. Like, you've done a move. You're now in a top secret location, not to be shared with anyone. I'm just taking the piss right now. But how has it been, the move, going international, away from the States, from Freedom Land, and being away from the family? How you been finding that? If you're cool to share,
the worst part's being away from the family, because I'm out here kind of ahead of the family. I'm trying to find a place for us to live, which like signed a lease on a place, so I think we're going to be good there. Ooh. It's tricky. Some of the stuff. So I lived overseas before, a little bit in Germany, a little bit in Poland. I like being in Europe. There are some things that are very different, but familiar in their own way. It is kind of funny though. Like I keep falling into the same trap. So like in places here, not really open on Sundays. So if you don't like go to the grocery store and have a bunch of food in the fridge on Saturday, then you don't have anything to eat on Sunday, which is rough because I'm the kind of guy, if I have food in the house, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
So I normally try to keep the fridge and the cupboard as bare as possible, which I think is not going to be a technique like once the family shows up.
No. But you kind of get in that little perfect, that weird zone, because my wife and Scrub Mum and Scrub Bub went away for like a couple of days, and it was not probably same as that, but just being a single, like not a single man, but you're a man, you don't answer to anyone, you can eat what you want, you can stay up as late as you want, and yeah, like that's a interesting experience to have when you've kind of got young ones, because like selfishly you're like, oh, I miss them so much. It's like weird.
Yeah, it's weird because you think like at first you think like, oh, this is going to be great. I'll get to do all this stuff that I normally don't get to do when the family's around.
Yeah.
And then by day 2, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so like, I'm bored. Like okay, I could play computer games, but like my life just feels so empty, which probably sounds really sad, but it's just a weird feeling.
Yeah. I think, and like particularly where we are, like we've got such young kids as well. So like, it's not like an 8-year-old who's like, I don't know, smashed out on Roblox and V-Bucks and stuff, but you get a little kid, like they need your full attention or they're going to die. So kind of being away from that, you're like, oh my God, like every time I put my daughter down for bed, I'm just like, I am so happy that you're going to sleep and I can finally clock off for the day, but I miss you immediately. I just want to, can you wake up? And she makes a noise. I'm like, please don't wake up. I need a break, please.
Yeah. It's funny because I got so used to anytime I was doing anything like driving around, running errands, I got the baby with me.
Yeah.
So like, all right, now let's go grab the car seat and put her in the carrier or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden I'm not doing that anymore. Oh, and yeah. I'm like always looking back to check for her. And so
I can imagine just having a car without a car seat in it, dude. Holy be like, I've got many years until that's gone.
Yeah. I think when we were kids, like car seats went away after you were 3 or something. And then now they want kids in car seats until they're like 13.
Yeah. Like boosters and stuff and all that type of different things. And it also depends on it. Like my daughter was a bit of a wriggler, so she could get out of her seat. I don't know how we got the thing to stop them getting out. So it's kind of like, we have to kind of turn you around like probably a little bit too early just to stop you from getting out. Like you're a little escape gremlin. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but dude, like over down in opposite end of the globe, underneath it, you know, over in Scrubland, dude, we are sick. We are so sick. Kid had hand, foot, and mouth, which is a wicked thing to experience. Yeah.
Oh, you mean like literally sick? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was back here laughing.
Yeah, you're all right. I'm like, yeah, I'm fully sick, bro. But surprisingly, it's not the bad one, because I think you got hand, foot, and mouth, and then hand, foot, and foot and mouth is one of them, which is like a proper hectic disease. But like we found out she's one of the crazy immune system kiddos who's like, she had it for 8 hours and then was fine. Like she had the spots in the mouth.
Oh, that's awesome.
The little blisters and stuff. But then we put her to bed expecting like, holy we're screwed. Tomorrow's going to be bad. But then it was all gone. And her immune system just kind of, you know, bored off the brunt of it, so she never got like the real hectic blisters and all that. And like, man, the daycare and all the bugs, dude, they just knock you around. And now we've had the flu go around. Now it's coming back to me, and so I'm fighting it off. It's a perfect time to play Broken Arrow at 12 a.m. in the morning, which might be the title of the video. Playing Broken Arrow. You're
gonna have your flu game, man. You gotta have your flu game.
I'm gonna be hyped up on uppers and downers, and I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be like having a fever, and I'll be like, holy. Is this what the game normally feels like to play? And then I'll be fine. I'll be like, yeah, it just is what it's like.
Well, I promise to call out all of your tactical mistakes when casting.
Oh, so please do.
Just for you.
Just zoom in on me and be like, look, he's not moved his shit.
What is this guy doing?
Let's just count how many times he doesn't move his pack after firing. And just type it in chat.
I will say, I'm glad your daughter's got the hyperimmune system.
Yeah.
I feel like my wife's the same way.
Yeah.
Like at least 2 times now I've gotten like a flu or something that's put me down for multiple days.
Yeah.
And she doesn't change her lifestyle at all. Like still sleeps in the same bed, takes care of me, makes food, whatever. And she doesn't even like get a sniffle. And it blows my mind, but maybe I just have terrible genes.
I think just the women focus stronger, you know, unironically. And they're, you know, we just take it harder because our immune systems aren't as strong, because they're just like the goats who deal with us and a sick baby at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
Well, talking about a game that has decided to change direction and do some interesting things. I got a game that I'm kind of wanting to talk about. You cool if I share this, Shock?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so you'll be happy to hear it's an RTS. But I have been looking at this game for a while. If you never heard of it, it's called Cepheus Protocol, right? And I'll just share the link and I'll share the Steams if you want to kind of check it out. And this is an interesting game. It's been on my radar for a very, very long time. I think probably like when did it come out? 2020 was the release date, but I'm pretty sure it came out sooner than that. But it's like a zombie-esque survival RTS game, which very early on when it kind of came out, it was like the whole point was like you're pretty much managing the military side of a zombie outbreak. So there's like Patient Zero running around infecting different districts. You kind of have to send your troops in there, slowly capture areas, get income, get tanks, and like evacuate civilians and stuff. And it was like very early access. And if you could probably kind of see the footage and stuff of it, it's still kind of very raw and has been raw for like, 6 years now, over 6 years. But at some point, the developers decided to kind of change the direction a bit. I'm not entirely sure what happened. And I'm honestly considering just covering this game on the channel at some point because it looks really interesting. But now it's kind of changed into this like weird hybrid operator, first-person shooter, third-person shooter with RTS. That's also co-op. So you can have like some...
So like Gates of Hell.
Yeah, like literally Gates of Hell. But you have like a juiced up Chad operator, which you get level points for and stuff. And it's a little bit gooner because some of the player models are a bit goonerish. If I do say so. It's like, I remember coming back to him like, that's an interesting character model, dude. I'm not sure you can get the boobs any bigger on that. But yeah, it's really, really cool. And I've been cautiously watching it for so long. And I wanted to kind of bring it up just by the fact that they've had their 100th like devlog, and they're slowly getting to the point where they're now incorporating a lot of those, like, I guess the alpha features from the game into this new version of it. So you've got like, they're slowly rolling out the civilian evacuation, which I found was the funnest thing whenever I played. Like you'd send in like your little birds with like your snipers and stuff and get them stationed on the buildings and then bring the troops in and start slowly evacuating the area. That whole side of it was so fun. And like over time with the Patient Zero, which I think her name's Chelsea. She'll go around like set up little infected nests, which will then spawn like bugs and drill worms. And like, this is crazy, man.
She's just like multiple missions and you still don't kill this lady?
Well, it's kind of like a single game, but she's just running around persistently on the map.
Oh, okay.
And you can like, if you were game enough and if your operators were leveled up enough and you guys wanted to full ball it and like track her down and try and kill her, because once you kill her, it's like game over and the infection begins to stop. But like the speed at which she kind of like infects the areas and just it's just such an interesting concept of like this hybrid like kind of tower defense-esque thing. It's so I want it to look better than it currently does, but the devs are cooking, and every now and then, like, tune into the dev stream, and I'm like, I feel like this is a game that if you like zombie stuff, and it's only $28 Australian, like, might be something worth checking out. There's not many people covering it because it's still raw and very raw, but it's cool.
Yeah,
it's a cool game.
It's one of those things where I feel like the fundamentals of a lot of RTS games are very similar.
Yeah.
Right. They kind of span from like the high APM blobby play of like StarCraft over to the super technical tactical stuff like Gates of Hell.
Yeah.
Right. And everything in between. But a lot of the mechanics are shared between games. And so the differentiator is usually like the environment and then little tweaks to the gameplay modes. And so it sounds like they're trying to find that niche, which is probably why, because if they're like pre-beta still, right? So it sounds like they're trying to figure out their vision for the game still, like as they're building it out. And which like, is interesting.
Yeah, like because it takes this like lens of like you can get together with your 5 mates. And if 2 of you just want to do the RTS side and control the troops and build the bases and do that, but then the rest of them just like, I want to be the Delta Force dudes getting in your helicopter and you fly me over to this point, and they're just like playing a Gears of War-esque first-person shooter. It's like it's such an interesting combination, and they've now got this like external website which you log into for your session, and it will like show what everyone's doing, and you can kind of use it as like having a second monitor open as like your tactical map, all the different layers and all that. I'm kind of like, well, why can't you just incorporate that into the game? But I imagine they got a vision, and I feel that's something very commendable.
That's such a cool idea, though.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you had that for Broken Arrow. like deliberate dual monitor support.
Yeah.
So you've got the game on your main display, and then you've got the TAC map, like a blown up mini map with more detail than the current mini map, obviously.
Yep.
Maybe it runs in a browser because
I think that's what they do.
For when you're looking at an overview, like the tick rate can be a lot lower. You're not really rendering anything. So that would be super cool to have as a setup. That's been my biggest issue with Broken Arrow is no, not my biggest issue, but from like an interface point of view, if you zoom into micro fight, you completely lose awareness of what's happening around you.
Yeah.
Versus my experience with Company of Heroes with the TAC map, where it allows you to constantly like zoom out, see the whole picture, zoom in, micro this fight, zoom out, see. So how cool would that be?
Oh,
like
dude.
native dual monitor support.
Yeah.
And it's something that you could port like FPS games, maybe not so much because everything's got the mini map in like the top left hand corner. But if games started, adjusting to the fact that, a lot of players do run 2 monitors.
Yeah.
And so if we give them something low effort to render, that's a cool concept.
Yeah. And it's a very, very interesting little project. I think Remy did a video on it ages ago, and that's like the old game, and you just can't play that old build anymore. And I don't even think that they're like slowly rebuilding San Francisco. And it's like, if the idea is like you're right, like you're driving in, not driving in, you're floating, you're boating in on like the Ford or something, or one of the aircraft carriers, and like San Francisco's been locked out, and like your job is to kill the infected and save as many people as possible and deal with like Leviathan bugs and all this stuff. The amount of work they're having to put into just getting this obviously early access fun hobby project of his guys to actually turning it into a real game is insane. And like so many devlogs, like these guys, I can see the work they're putting into it. Like we're trying to fix how the line of sight and the the fog of war properly renders and stuff, and then managing that between like first person, third person, and then like this top down RTS commander perspective. And it's just like, it goes to show that if you build, like if a game's kind of built on shaky foundations, it takes a long time to get into an actual good technical state, to actually do the cool things.
Yeah, there was a book that I read about a year ago, and it talks about like 9 or 10 different video games at various levels of success in their development histories. And I'll look it up after this, and I'll put the title up on the screen here. But it's one of the things that they highlighted is that a lot of the games that go super viral start as a passion project for like one person. Yeah. What's the best example? Like Hollow Knight. It was just like one dude sitting at his computer for a couple of years, just trying to build a game that he thought would be fun. Yeah. And then getting a little bit of support versus some of the AAA developers who what they produce is very consistent, but is not always original. Yeah. Or their take on originality.
It's Warzone with horses. It's like that. And they go, why did this flop?
Well, it's funny when stuff like that like works out.
Yeah, that's
like Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Warzone with zombies, right? And
like weird boss battles and shit.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's a like engaging game. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes this stuff works, sometimes it doesn't. Like when PUBG came out, it was groundbreaking.
Oh man!
Even though the engine was very janky. And I think that's one of the reasons that the original Warzone was so good is it took the idea of like the style of play, the adrenaline pumping moments from PUBG and transitioned it to an environment that a lot of people were familiar with. It was honestly very slick and smooth and well polished. And then it just kind of went off the reservation with the weapon balance changes and the Nicki Minaj skins. And I know a lot of people still play Warzone, but I left that thing like 3 years ago and never really looked back.
I imagine if it's even around anymore, because I know I was at Activision like just closing their games, but I imagine the file size is probably in the terabytes right now, even run that game, because holy I remember the choice of playing single player or playing Warzone, and that was my choice. I don't get to have both. You get one experience. And to be honest, Modern Warfare, holy shit, that campaign was good. That was nuts. And no game has been able to replicate the nighttime house raid sequence to that level. That was just like very, very cool. But yeah.
I mean, campaigns are important, right? Like I hope for the success of Cepheus Protocol that they really emphasize the campaign, because if you talk to a lot of devs, for some games, the numbers as high as 90% of players never even touch multiplayer. Yeah. They want an immersive single player campaign. And if you look at a lot of the complaints for Company of Heroes, it's the dynamic campaign is kind of fizzled. Broken Arrow, you can't save, so you get locked in these like hour-long single player games that you sometimes fail, and it's frustrating. And the campaign itself is what it is. Yeah. I hope for their sake they put a lot of effort into the campaign and make it rewarding, and that's how you draw people in, and then you get them to start thinking about they get so pumped up by finishing the campaign, and they're like, all right, now let's take this to multiplayer, and that's where the enjoyment kind of continues.
Dude, people were such chuds around the Broken Arrow campaign. But I want to say a positive thing about Broken Arrow. There's this dude called Vitaly, and he is making, it's called RTC, Road to Ceasefire. And it is like a campaign-esque, like he's currently developing episode 3 of it, but he's got mission 1 out and then mission 2. And it's kind of like, it's a single player campaign for Broken Arrow.
Custom campaign. Okay.
It is like really good, and the effort he's putting into making this is like, I would like the direction he wants to go is like, this is rivaling what the developers have even done. And he's done this really awesome like intro cinematics that like combine Armor Reforger with Broken Arrow to kind of add the story element around it. And like
that's wild.
He's making some good shit, and like honest to God, there needs to be more attention brought to the single player stuff, because like there's some good stuff there. It's just can't get enough of multiplayer, I guess.
Now, I want to transition a little bit. We were talking about single player campaign and how critical that is to an upcoming RTS. I've mentioned this, and someone actually in the comments from either episode 1 or episode 2 turned me on to this. And I downloaded the demo for Sanctuary Shattered Sun, which the basic demo with tutorials and the first campaign mission is available on Steam. You can just download it. And then if you go in and support their Kickstarter, you get access to multiplayer and skirmish mode and stuff like that.
Ooh.
But this is the successor to Supreme Commander, and prior to that, Total Annihilation. Now, you're probably too young for Total Annihilation. Yeah. I never played Supreme Commander, but I did play the shit out of Total Annihilation. Fantastic. Like, for its time, it was just groundbreaking. Symmetrically balanced, but still it incorporates a lot of the elements of what other people think of as like a classic RTS. Because I see a lot of people complain about in Broken Arrow or Company of Heroes, like, oh, those are real-time tactics, because there's not base building, there's not defenses, you're just moving units around the battlefield, so it doesn't count as strategy, you're not managing an economy. I played through the campaign portion, and I did a couple of the sandbox missions. And at first I was like, oh, in the tutorial, I was like, this is a little janky and weird. And then as I got into the campaign mission, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And it's hard to tell at this stage if it is going to be symmetrically balanced between factions or not. Things are helpfully labeled by tiers, so you get an idea of the strength of the different units, right? Like, so it's like tier 1 to tier 3 tank, or tier 3 sniper bot, or tier 2 anti-air, whatever. But that's kind of how they also controlled the teching. So it gets back to like the classic resource mechanics for what I remember from Total Annihilation, where you have to mine for alloy and you have to produce power. And your production draws from that. So you have your output, there's some storage, but you're constantly trying to balance like, oh, now I need to produce more expensive units, so I need to add some power generation, or I need to go find new places to mine for alloy or increase my alloy storage so I can afford this production. From like a combat point of view, it's more about having the right unit combination to counter whatever the enemy has. So like artillery to defeat fortifications, anti-air units to defeat air units, obviously. You know, tanks, you have your big bruiser tanks, and you got like sniper or more specialist units. And so trying to kind of divvy that stuff up. Tanks without air defense will get annihilated by a gunship super fast, vice versa, right? So and you're constantly kind of managing the construction piece of things, getting your engineers out, There's a little bit of like the ratchet strap kind of technique where like you move forward into an area, and while you're fighting, you're setting up defenses so that when you need to back up, you have some space to breathe, because it's not uncommon, at least against the AI. If you push a little bit too aggressively, your attacking force gets kind of wiped out. And if you haven't built defenses behind you, they just roll right up to your base and start wrecking stuff.
Dude, I can imagine. I'm looking at some of the footage now, like, holy shit, this looks like, this is like, I've never played Supreme Commander. Yeah, Supreme Commander. Probably should. I can see the inspiration coming from. I remember watching like an old game review on Supreme Commander 2 and just like, holy shit, this looks like insane. And talking about multiple monitors, that was like when you'd have the old CRT, and like I remember just seeing this dude have like, he had like the game on one screen, and on above one he had like the zoomed out thing on. I thought it was the most coolest shit imaginable. It's like, I don't know. This looks sick, dude. To
me, so it's lacking some of, like, there's no like cover mechanic and or elevation mechanic. So it's lacking some of that, like the tactical aspect that we're used to from other games, but it's still a lot of like what I think of as like complex problem solving in reading the battlefield, reading what your opponent has, adjusting your builds to kind of combat that. There is a little bit of like environmental altering that they got into,
like free seas.
So for example, yeah, like there are naval units, but there are ways to freeze the oceans so that you can attack them with ground units, basically lock them in place, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which sounds really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. The Kickstarter, they got way more than they asked for.
Oh, hell yeah.
You'll see it goes, like, you can sign up for just a couple dollars to like support and get access to some early things. To get early like beta access is a little bit pricey, but it just kind of, it also brought me back, right, to, because Total Annihilation was like my second or third RTS. The nostalgia thing is huge, but I've been enjoying looking at it. I haven't made any videos about it yet. I haven't really looked to see what's out there on YouTube, but it has been enjoyable. It's definitely something, especially for the single player. Like if the campaign is compelling, which if the first mission is anything like the rest of the campaign will be pretty compelling.
Oh, hell yeah. Is it going to be early access, or is it like an actual full release? You know
what? I think they're going to release early access for people that supported the Kickstarter.
Okay.
And then I think they'll do a full release.
Yeah.
I just hope with all these new RTSs that are coming out, and we talked about this a little bit with Kingpin and High Speed the other day. I hope that there's just built-in support for an observer mode or a replay feature, whatever it might be. I had to say, like, I have basically no faith that a replay mode will ever come to Broken Arrow, because it wasn't baked into the engine of the game to start with. So this is my plea to all the devs out there that are working on RTSs that are still in like that alpha phase. Like, please just already start thinking about how you're going to implement replays, how you're going to implement spectator mode, because it does so much for your game. I'm good at video games, but I'm not a pro player. And so most people don't want to watch me play, but they'll watch games that I cast, because I spend a lot of time trying to understand the game and what right looks like, and how to report on a fight between two players so much better than myself.
Yeah.
I think that is more fun than just watching someone. Some people are really good. There are a couple guys out there that are fantastic at not just playing at a high level, but describing what they're doing or being really entertaining. But I think, a spectator mode or replay mode goes a long way.
Oh, dude, it will breathe so much life into your game. Like if you've got like that gamer crack that we're also deeply desired, that we found, and many of us found in Broken Arrow, like you've got a whole bunch of people recording their own footage to make into videos, or just for their own like improvement. Like just make it easy for them, and you'll develop that fan base. Holy shit. We're kind of in a renaissance of RTSs, which is weird, because I was never that big of an RTS guy outside of like, Dawn of War and 0 Hour and Generals and all that, and like a bit of Command and Conqueror 2 or 3. I played, and like Renegade. Never played Red Alert. Probably should. I know that's like, I think I played Kane's something as like a 9-year-old or something, and I was terrified. I was so scared, dude. I was like, this is so scary. These big red buildings are digging out from everywhere. This is crazy. Dude, yeah, we're kind of going through a renaissance, I think, and a lot of competition to come. I will say that.
Yeah, I think everyone's looking for their like killer app that's going to go big and go viral and generate a huge player base. And I don't know that anything's really going to unseat StarCraft. but it is really cool to see games in this genre appeal to a wide audience.
StarCraft is so good. I am surprised. Like, I don't know what the current situation is. I tuned into a while ago. Blizzard doesn't do for it, and that game's still going crazy. It's like it's kind of like Valve with TF2. It's like they've just got this gem that can't be replicated, and people just dig it. And like even going back to Brood War and all that, like you got just pedigree of RTSs.
I want to transition briefly, and we hinted at it in the intro. We talked about it in the last episode. Company of Heroes 3 came out with like a mini expansion called Final Stand. Have you taken a look at this at all?
I've seen some of the YouTube videos and a couple of the things, and I was like, I did not like, because I'm not keeping up with Company of Heroes 3 much. Outside of kind of dipping my toes in here and there, but like I did not expect this mode to drop. Like I was like, wait, what? You're doing a PvE kind of last stand thing? I'm like, okay, all right. Didn't expect that.
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't seen it, it's basically a tower defense mode with multiple levels of difficulty, and then a perk tree that you unlock by playing the game. You unlock points, and you can work through to add perks to basically make your units perform better, so that as you go into higher difficulties, you have a fighting chance, because the game cheats like crazy. So at expert difficulty, you're not fighting regular units anymore from the game. You are fighting hordes of imaginary enemies, but that's neither here nor there. I found it to be really entertaining for a couple of reasons. I play with some of my other Sweat Lord buddies at very high difficulty levels. It's still fun, but I also played it with my father-in-law, who he dabbles in Company of Heroes, but is not a hyper competitive player by any means. But this mode was fun and accessible for him.
Oh, sick.
But my rant about this comes from a number of people that have put out YouTube video reviews where they basically bash it. If you know the game, if you know Company of Heroes, if you've been in the space for a while, and your review, and some people have said this, like, yeah, the game mode's fine, it's got some bugs, it's a little expensive. Like, that's completely fair.
Yeah.
But what drives me crazy, and a couple of people sent me these videos, and they're like, oh, have you seen this review of Final Stand? And it's clearly some dude, somehow he got a product key for the game, does not play Company of Heroes 3. Just doesn't. He maybe has some RTS experience, plays Final Stand twice, and then just whines about it for 10 minutes and tells other people not to buy it.
Oh my God.
And it's so painful as someone that actually like understands the game, has spent a lot of time playing the game. Like, this guy has no clue what he's doing or what he's talking about, but he's got this huge audience and he's bashing this thing. And so this is look, Scrub, we've talked. I try to be the most reasonable person on the internet, which is hard to do at times.
Yeah. Considering, much like in this case, people don't read or do anything, and they will just produce garbage for the sake of 5 views, question mark.
Bro, it's pure clickbait BS. So this is all I'll say.
Oh, standalone thing.
So it is and it isn't. Right. Okay. If you have Company of Heroes 3, you actually get a discount on it. Okay. And then you can load into it inside the main game. It'll show up in your Steam as a separate game, but you don't actually need to log into it separately. You can so me and my buddy Joel would literally, like, we play a 2v2. It was super sweaty. Like, let's play a round of Final Stand, just chill for a bit, and then go back and never didn't have to leave the game. If you don't have Company of Heroes 3, then I think it's slightly more expensive. Someone said it's like $25 or $30. And then, it launches on its own. You don't need to otherwise have Company of Heroes 3 for that to work.
Okay.
I understand for some people the price point seems a little steep. I would say you can easily get that much value out of the game.
Yeah.
You can easily spend hundreds of hours in this game mode. There are things that frustrate people, but the way it works is, you get in, every faction has a very small base unit roster. And then every couple of waves, the game gives you a choice. Like, you get to choose like one of 2 or one of 3 units that you can now build. You get passive abilities, you get active abilities, etc. And so no game plays out the same way. And there was one time, Joel and I, our first attempt at the highest difficulty, when I just got terrible choices over and over again and we lost at the very, very end. On one side, it's frustrating. But on the other hand, it's like, but that's kind of part of the fun. Like the game's giving you garbage units. You're like, all right, how do I make this combination work? It's the exact same formula as like all these stupid cooking shows on TV, right? I'm going to give you a bunch of crap ingredients and you got to try to figure out how to make something good out of it.
So it's its own bit of a roguelike.
Yes, exactly. My hope for this is you introduce people to the gameplay, to some of the core mechanics of the game, some of the fundamentals, and you get them to think like this could actually be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And maybe they pour it over to the main game and we get the number of players in Company of Heroes 3 since this thing launched has almost tripled on a daily basis.
Oh, hell yeah. That's good.
Yeah, really, really cool. All that being said, if you're someone who makes clickbait YouTube videos where you just complain about everything, I have no time or patience for you. If you have legit, real complaints, then I get it. Lord, I was so frustrated when I saw that. It's like, this is the last thing. This is the last thing this community needs right now is a bunch of people being like, this is garbage. Oh my gosh, $25.
Yeah, legit, man. There was when you get those kind of leeches who kind of stick on the side of something, who like if I think you bring up a good point. If there's issues, talk about that 100%, right? And you gotta and all that. But like if you don't understand it, or you're not even willing to engage with it to some level, and you just can throw your hands up in the air, it's tricky. It's a hard balance. I'll be honest. And the YouTube meta is interesting. I don't know how these people get so many clicks. I mean, it's all based on anger and dopamine and all that type of shit. People just getting mad. One thing I've always
we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that here at the Dad Stack.
Nah, we're not.
There will be no anger. The only happy dopamine
until the next episode. But it's cool to see devs experiment with different types of things and try and bridge that gap that I'm sure we've all experienced as like RTS gamers, where like you play the single player, you feel the way the units work, but they don't really work in that multiplayer sense. But then like having a mode like this is like, I can actually just play with the units and I can actually run these ones, even though they might not be optimized. And I'm just kind of having a blast with it and get to experiment with different things. So it's a cool experiment, I reckon.
One last thing I comment I want to make real quick. I can see people being like, Shark, $25, €25, like that's a lot for me. You're out of touch. That's fair. That's a lot of money for some people to spend on a game. But compared to $80 for Madden, what are we on, 27, where it's essentially a roster update that looks and plays exactly like the last 5 versions of the game, that feels like way more of a cash grab than an indie developer putting out a dedicated expansion. For $25. That's all I can really say on that one.
I would try and add into this with Australian game prices, but our prices are kind of whack. I just know like my mate's been talking about wanting to get into Borderlands 4 for ages, and we had a look and it's like 110 Australian, and we're like, it's off. I don't know. I'm not paying that much money in, because it's like not throwing shade at Borderlands, that's a cool game series, but like, man, when you got kids, I don't have time to play a game like that long. Like, it's like
to get the value out of that, you got to put hundreds of hours into it,
dude. And it's not something like Red Dead Redemption where you're like, okay, this will be my identity for the next 2 months. I'm going to be like a yeehaw and all that good stuff at home. But yeah. Now, yes. So we're coming to the end of this. Of course, what? I'm not sure when we'll record next, but for our valued listeners, do you have anything planned for your channel for the next couple of weeks? What are you playing? What's going on for the future in the world of N7 Shark?
I've had to kind of cut back on streaming because the internet's not great. I'm focusing a lot on videos. Obviously, we got some Broken Arrow casts. I'm working with a couple of people on something that'll resemble like a King of the Hill style tournament for Broken Arrow, just where we can get some quality high level gameplay in observer mode, because unfortunately observer mode only really works with custom games at the moment. And then I have a number of really, really good Company of Heroes 3 casts. The latest patch for that game, by all accounts, has been excellent. So looking to knock that out. And then honestly, I'm just trying to kind of see what else is out there. Sanctuary Shattered Sun looks good. The Last General is something I kind of want to dig into. Dawn of War 4 is coming out in a month or two. So we'll see. We'll see when the family gets here and as work starts to pick back up for me, what I'll actually have time to do. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. What about you, man?
Man, kind of similar. On the broke, like I'm trying to get some Broken Arrow stuff up on the channel. It's just been a very difficult process trying to get number one games that I feel that would be good to show you guys. I don't want to just kind of just throw shit up there because it's been, we'll talk about all that when we get, our feelings and all that. But yeah, so I've been doing some other games. I've been playing some Menace, which is very, very cool, very fun. A couple of dudes were like, "Do not play on the highest difficulty," and I'm like, "Nah, I can play on it." And I could not play on the highest difficulty. It's like it's not like XCOM Superhuman. It's definitely different. So I've been doing a bit of that. I'm hoping to kind of maybe get some of that up on the channel, as well as the Galactic Contention mod for Squad, which is like a Star Wars squad mod. And holy
nice,
dude, it is fun. It is cinematic. It is crazy, man. I've never had like a proper gamer PC until this one, and so I can like run at max settings everything and get like 140 frames and record. So I'm like getting that I'm getting that experience of like watching all the classic YouTubers and stuff back in the day, like playing Armor at 60 frames. It's like, holy they're getting 60 frames. This game looks amazing. But I'm editing a video as we speak, and I was hoping to get that up the 6th. But it will probably be the Saturday, and I'll probably try and get some Broken Arrow stuff out. I might try and do some single player Broken Arrow stuff because multiplayer has been difficult. But yeah, I'm just kind of experimenting, trying some different things. I'm not in any way hanging up the hat on Broken Arrow because, man, I love this game. Nothing beats it. But like, I feel it's probably a good opportunity to kind of try different things out, as well. Like, Dawn of War 4 is just on the horizon. Holy man. As well as there's another game which was like just right there, which I've been like staring at. I think it's Dawn of War 4. Project Zomboid had Build 42 released, and that stuff's like incredible. But that's a weird thing, when you're kind of making YouTube videos, it changes the way you approach games. You don't have a lot of time to play, so you want to play games that would make cool videos. But then sometimes, like, man, you can't go from like a Broken Arrow match to a 30-minute video on Squad, and then the week after go to an episode 1 of a Menace playthrough and stuff. And that's like kind of really difficult on a channel, just because like I would do it. I would absolutely love to do that. It's just YouTube doesn't like that, and it will punish you very, very hard. As I believe you're experiencing having these podcasts up on your channel. They're like, what the hell's going on? Why is he uploading a podcast? And yeah, man, YouTube's a beast, I tell you what. But we do it for the love of the game, to do cool videos and have fun first and foremost.
The way to do YouTube when you're not if you're not doing it professionally is do what's fun for you.
Yeah.
Because great example, I spent a ton of time on the Adeptus Mechanicus unit reveal Dawn of War 4 video because in the battle report there was a ton of information, and I went literally frame by frame and pulled it out. And made this video as like 45 minutes of analysis. It's funny because it took off initially and then just stopped. Like the number of views just died, and I have no idea why. Maybe it's not a good quality video. I actually thought it was the best of my Dawn of War 4 videos, but
really good. It was like I was surprised to see that myself, because I remember watching. I'm like, it's actually kind of like, and I could see you were attracting people who had never really engaged in the Shark, Broken Arrow, Company of Heroes, I guess, sphere. It was interesting. Like, there's fresh blood over here. But yeah, who knows? YouTube is
so as long as it's a hobby, I think it's fun. I kind of wonder, maybe we can get someone on like Vulcan who does this more or less full time and has a huge audience. But
that would be interesting to get some of those perspectives, because like not even from like from creator to creator, but just to kind of hear that, because it'd be very, very cool to pick someone like Vulcan's brain. Like, why do you play these games? It's like, because they get,
like, does it become a chore, right? Like when it's work, does it become work, and is it less enjoyable to do this stuff? I already feel that pressure from time to time. Big patch comes out and it's like, well, I want to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But I need to get a video out, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. And you got to balance the idea in your head of what you want to do, what your tangible ability is, the time you have, and this is not a full-time job. And like we'll do our day, we'll do our dad stuff, and then it's like, all right, time to clock on into 8 hours of YouTube editing, and that's not a lot of time. That's like, you don't get much done. Like, and you can just spend so long. But really, the only thing that matters is the video you last made, the video that you're making now, and the video you're going to make in the one after that. Trying to take a bit more of a holistic approach to give myself a lot more grace with it, and just be like, don't stress, man. Just have fun. If I'm having fun, people are having fun. Do it as a creative outlet. And but just like I've been spoiled with Broken Arrow because 45-minute games are very easy to make into a video. Surprise, surprise. Instead of compressing 5 hours of squad gameplay into something that's watchable.
On that note, a couple things before we formally close out. One, this guy Wilson CS, and apparently he's been doing this for a while, but he has a bunch of guide videos for Counter-Strike, but he plays on a team in ESEA main, and he has been streaming and then posting the recordings of the stream of his matches, which in ESEA are 2 matches a week. And it's kind of a cool format. I think it's technically like the Swiss format where you play, you get 2 matches, you play them, and then it says like, oh, all right, you won both of those, you're 2-0. And then it lumps all the 2-0 teams into a pool and matches you up for the next week. Right. And then like you win 2 more, you're 4-0, it matches all the 4-0 teams. And it keeps doing that until it kind of beats some teams down and then eventually you get lead to the playoffs. But what I find most interesting about this is not only is it like really good competitive CS, but he's the in-game leader. A long time ago, Counter-Strike used to have coaches that were on comms. Then they made a rule that didn't allow that anymore. So one of the players is like literally leading the team in-game and also trying to play the game, which is a really fun dynamic. That is something that like that was my role when I played competitive Counter-Strike. And so it's really cool for me to get to watch him do this and be an IGL. And so I've been really enjoying that series. So I will link that down in the description or throw a card up on YouTube for that. If you guys like first person shooters at all, or especially if you have ever watched or played Counter-Strike, I love that series. I just kind of want to hype that up there.
I want to shout someone out as well.
Do it.
This guy, his name is Casper Air King. Absolute, like he is. Yeah. I've been watching his videos for a while. I've been tuning in. He's great. He's currently started uploading because I know a lot of people have kind of took a break when PTE closed. Mm-hmm. He has been grinding up for so long. He's just hit 100 subs. He's now on 120 and he's kind of going up there. 66 video. He does a lot of really cool shows of his gameplay, shows a couple like his decks in it. He's really, really good creator. I've been trying to organize a time to coordinate to get him on the stack, but he's definitely, if you just kind of want to throw someone on, watch some Broken Arrow, have a good time, he is a great pick. And he's definitely sitting around in that, he's still kind of grinding in that ELO. I think, what's his latest? Oh, let me check this game. It might be PTE, but he's kind of in that mid-range ELO level as well. So like, I really like checking in and watching those creators because like you learn a lot watching the goats and stuff, but I like seeing people like grinding for ELO hell. Now every ELO is ELO hell, considering you get 100 ELO if you win a game.
Oh, they fixed that in the hotfix. Apparently it was a bug. Oh, not intended. Yeah, good times.
Not intended? Surely not. Surely they wouldn't just, not do any QA, but moving on. You got a story for us?
Yeah. Before we go to the story, real quick, anything guests that you guys want us to have on, questions that you've got? I would love to have like an Ask Us Anything section at the start of the podcast.
Yes.
So yeah, any silly, stupid questions, like debate questions, any of that, please send it our way.
Yes.
Hopefully you guys actually find this video. I know both Scrub and I will link to it on the new channel, but
echoing it out.
It is fun for it. This whole process is fun for us to make as well, which is one of the reasons that we keep doing it. So hopefully you enjoy listening to it.
I will dip in. I have actually done the Discord link. And so if you join the Meet Chat Discord, you can get the special access to the dad chat, which is just kind of like a dad chat. If you want to talk dad stuff, or just if you're not a daddy, you're a mummy. If you're not a daddy or mummy, you just kind of want to talk about the podcast, you can go there. And that might be a great place for us to kind of share. And if you've got any questions for us, I can add it to the list. Yeah. All right. That's my final thing. On to you.
Closeout story. So I forget which video it was. There was a Broken Arrow guide video that I was making. It might have been the one where I talked about the speeds and the timings to get to different points and when you want to like last call in certain units based on where you are and on what map, etc.
Yeah.
So there was a ton of work that went into the testing. And then there was easily like an hour and a half worth of actual recording that I then cut down into a video. The entire time I'm recording, because I'd coordinated this with my wife and she was like, oh, that's cool. I'll hang out with and I'll take care of the baby so you don't have to worry about it. You can just record. And I was like, awesome. So they're in the next room over. At one point, my wife is like, oh, needs more exercise. So we're going to do tummy time. At the time, she was not really enjoying that. So she starts kind of crying when she's been, and then once she starts crying, then it takes a while to get her to stop crying. And of course I don't hear this because I got these cans on and I'm recording, and I finish all the recording and I start to get into the video editing. It was like 95% of the video you can just hear a baby crying in the background, just like wails like every 5 seconds. And I probably spent a half an hour, and I edited the video all the way through, and then I'm like listening to it. I'm like, oh my God, it's a baby crying constantly. And I went and I tried to figure out if there's a way that like I could find the frequency and like turn it down. Like, nope, no dice. So
Just gotta record it.
We eat dinner, and she's like, so what are you doing? I'm like, I have to re-record everything. I have to completely remake this video. And so of course, like, my wife, because she's a good person, she like felt bad, even though it's not her fault at all. Like, I should have thought about it and closed the door. But then, just like doubled your production time, because I did all of the editing and post processing. I had to go back and re-record everything. And then the voiceover's never right when you re-record the second time, because you forget what you said and what you haven't.
Oh, dude, you can never capture that first cut, man. You can't. And it never sounds the same.
That is dad content creation in a nutshell. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic one. That's a classic. God, thank you for the shark mama and the scrub mama. You guys really not watching this, but thank you for taking up the slack when we, the metaphorical family, like Juju Box or something. Thank you guys are legends. I swear to God, if it wasn't for you guys, we couldn't do these dumb little YouTube channels.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Scrubby, thank you for staying up late. Thank you in advance for staying up even later so I can cast all of your mistakes and errors playing Broken Arrow. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you shit in advance.
Nah, dude. I'm like looking. I've got an hour and 17 and I'm like, oh, far out. I can't even
Let's go, man.
I gotta lock in. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I just hopefully I won't have a monolithic crash out like I did in that game with you and Corin the other day.
It's fine. It's fine.
I won't play Marine Soft on a map that shouldn't work that way. We're definitely not doing that. Juro, please. I know you're listening to this because you're a daddy. Please, I hope you have carried us as well as Corin.
Duro will hard carry us.
Everyone's they're gonna, and he's playing on the point that he wants. He's like, I want this point, and I'm like, I'm not gonna argue, dude. You can have it. You can take that one, dude.
Oh yeah. All right, brother. Well, thank you everyone for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for finding us on the new channel. Send us your comments, your thoughts, your questions. Join the Discord. Hit up Scrubby in the Dad Stack chat.
Yep.
We love you all, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace. Bye-bye.